we get any information that supports the summoning of any witness in this matter that is trending on social media, we shall alert you.
Police have highlighted the different methods under which a suspect can be summoned in a formal procedure for statement recording. Police
summons are visible. When we give summons to people, there are those who have displayed them. There is a very clear, the language is very clear and on headed paper, but not just on social media the way it is. But if you want more information, you can even approach those people who have been named in that social media tweet. Approach them and get statements.
Throughout the day, the premises of the Police Directorate of Criminal Investigations were out of bounds to non-staff with heightened security. Even the media was locked outside. Some contacted ministries and government agencies have denied information about the summoning of their officials, while others have confirmed that some officials were invited for questioning but preferred anonymity. Abdul Nasir Lowama and Venetia Patricia Nandago for UBC.
Now, news coming in. Uganda Cranes is leading Algeria by 1-0 in this evening's Group G World Cup qualifier game being played at Mandela National Stadium, Nambole. Now, Travas Mutiaba scored in the 10th minute of the game, and if it ends like this, Uganda will lead the group with 9 points. The First Lady and Minister for Education and Sports, Janet Kataham Museveni, is among those watching the game. Now, a section of Omkama Solomon Gafabusa Iguru subjects are this evening gathering at Bulisa Town Council grounds in Bulisa district for a pre-music festival for this year's 30th coronation anniversary Mpango celebrations, which are on this Tuesday, the 11th of June 2024 in Hoima City. Now, in attendance is a Minister of State for Youth and Children Affairs, Balam Barugahara Atenyi, and the Kingdom's Prime Minister, Andrew Byakutaga. Now, we're going live to the venue where our reporter, Onyango, is in attendance there, and he's on standby. Onyango.
Well, good evening, viewers of UBC TV, and thank you, Edward, for the UBC Tonight Bulletin. I'm by the names of Robert Onyango, and I'm coming to you live from Bulisa District, where this time round we are at the pre-events for this year's 30th coronation anniversary of the Bunyoro Kitara Kingdom King, which is a day tomorrow. But here in Bulisa, the pre-events has attracted subjects of the king in the entire Bunyoro sub-region who are here to feast ahead of tomorrow's events, which are happening in Hoima City. Earlier on in the day, the king attended the service prayers at St. Peter's Cathedral in Hoima District or Hoima City ahead of the tomorrow's events, where he expects to attract dignitaries from all walks of life who will be coming to grace the occasion, where the king himself, His Royal Highness Gafabusa Solomon Iguru I, will be celebrating 30 years after his coronation. With me here in Bulisa District at Bulisa Town Council Headquarters Playgrounds is the Kingdom's Prime Minister, Owechitinisa Andrew Byakutaga, who is going to give us the details of how the day has begun, how the events have been until when we will be officially going for the celebration tomorrow. What you are seeing on the screens is just the arrival of the Minister of State for Children Affairs, who is coming in here as one of the special guests of this function. Dr. Barnaba Rugahara. Let me chip in. Owekitiibwa Andrew Byakutaga, the Prime Minister of Munyoro Kitara Kingdom, to give us the details of how we shall be proceeding tomorrow. But then what does this Kasiki signify in as far as the coronation anniversary celebrations are concerned? A good evening, Owekitiibwa.
Good evening. I'm very glad for this event here we're holding in Bulisa for the first time. This is a pre-empango activity which we call a Kasiki or Omujato. So we are here to celebrate 30 years for a coronation anniversary for His Royal Highness, the King of Munyoro Kitara.
How did we arrive to this arrangement?
Previously, we've been having these events all held in Hoima City, where we normally have Empango, Egate, Beverly Quid. All events are held in Hoima City, and there have been some apprehension and the other subjects of the king also wishing to have part of the celebration. So this year the king directed that we can have this event in Bulisa, and all the coming years this event will be shifting from one district of the kingdom to another.
What specifically do you share with such communities?
You see, the way our event is organized, like it has been structured all the years, that function can only take place at the kingdom headquarters, where the king's throne is. We cannot shift the throne. And therefore the main event, the Empango itself, cannot shift. So that's why it was the king decided that let us shift the pre-Empango activity. So we come here, we share with the people who are not able to make it tomorrow, but we share with them. It's like really the state of the kingdom address. We inform them what is going on, the preparations which are taking place, and we also share with them the king's message.
What is there to celebrate for Munyoro Kitara under the 30 years?
No, it is, first of all, I would like to congratulate His Royal Highness for being able to be on the throne for 30 years. You know, we suffered a lot when kingdoms were abolished. Our culture was suffering. The children, the young people didn't know what culture was about. Our language was disappearing. But now, after these 30 years, there has been a lot of rejuvenation of our culture, the clans, and a lot of things. But also, the king has been able to maintain peace in this region. Munyoro Kitara Kingdom has been generally peaceful. He has put very good working relationships with government and other kingdoms and other agencies. And that's why you see that Munyoro actually has changed within these 30 years. There are investments here, very good infrastructure, we have an airport, all these things happening because the king created an environment, a peaceful environment for coexistence, and also with very many other tribes from many other districts of Uganda. So we are grateful for his leadership, and we are grateful, of course, to the government for returning the kingdoms.
Lastly, when you look around, there is a high population, especially for the youth. Are they aware of the burden ahead of them in supporting the kingdom and even making it stronger than even it is today?
Of course, that is now our responsibility to ensure that we spread the message of the king and also about the kingdom, and that's why we bring out events like this to go out to everyone so that the youth can really follow. But as a kingdom, we know that it's important for people to improve on their incomes. That is the most important thing, because a lot of these youths are unemployed. But we are saying households should have enough income so that there is money in the economy, and then they can create jobs, because without jobs we're going to have a very big challenge. So that is the message. We work very hard. This year's message is the theme is preserving our culture for socio-economic development.
Okay, thank you. That is the Kingdom's Prime Minister Owekitiibwa Andrew Byakutaga. I'm being signaled here. I don't know whether Kija, you can allow me to speak to Honorable Balam for 1 minute, then we shall come back later on with him. I don't know if he's a bit busy, then let me hand back to you. We shall get Honorable Balam later on in the day. as we still enjoy the Empango anniversary, which is not the case here today. We are having the Kasiki, whereby tomorrow we shall be setting off to the kingdom in Hoima City and get you the live coverage of this anniversary celebrations, an event happening tomorrow on 11th June 2024. Back to studios, Rukidi Kiijanangoma.
Robert Onyango, thank you so much there for that update. And of course, we've been live in Bulisa, and that is at Bulisa Town Council grounds in Bulisa district, where our reporter Onyango Robert has been interacting with the Omhikirwa of Bunyoro Kingdom, and that is Mr. Byakutaga. Also, more news coming in as far as the that World Cup qualifier game between Uganda and Algeria. We understand it is now 1 apiece, but we do hope that Uganda will take the day at the final whistle. Moving on now, police have cautioned the public against circulating videos portraying violent actions and criminality. Police spokesperson Fred Enaga says these videos create fear among the public and portray Uganda as an insecure state. This was stated during the police weekly briefing at Naguru Police Headquarters. We have more in this story.
The surge in the spread of violent videos displaying techniques employed by criminal gangs in robberies has raised fear amongst the public. These videos have unveiled new methods of stealing, such as the round kick attack and rob.
Against the recycling of old videos of violence, attacks and torture, and creating deepfake videos. These acts of spreading false statements and videos of violence attacks, we are aware, are aimed at stoking fear.
Security has come out to warn the public against spreading these violent videos.
We've noticed that there are negative elements who are sharing old videos like the one of 2022, that ride-along attack. I remember we arrested Pancho. I told Luke to share that statement. That ringleader was arrested, and 4 others were charged to court for aggravated robberies.
Police confirm there have been no incidents of round flying kicks over the last 2 weeks. Those videos being spread are non-authentic. Some are old, while others are from different countries, like Ghana.
For instance, after the other last incident of flying kick and grab, we've changed our security posture within the Central Business District, and of course, which has been impactful. For the last 14, 15 days, we've not registered any new such kind of attack.
Meanwhile, police have given an update on the implementation of the presidential directive on sub-county policing.
We need to find out how the implementation of this pilot sub-county policing model is taking place in Masaka and the other districts in Greater Masaka, and then we can give an update on that.
Upon assessing the success of sub-county policing in Greater Masaka, police will seek more resources to expand the system to other policing regions.
Successful implementation of this model is also tagged on the availability of resources, because it involves the deployment of massive manpower and logistical resources for it to effectively succeed.
In Kampala metropolitan policing operations, police apprehended 2 suspects, one Kiseka Bahati and Bugaya Edwin, for mobile money robbery in the Bwebajia. It is alleged these 2 attacked Mbadiremu Maria, a mobile money dealer, and robbed her of 2.5 million shillings.
We managed to recover the unmarked pistol, which we established that Chiseka smuggled into the country from South Sudan, where he was working. We managed to recover In addition to the unmarked pistol, we recovered 1.5 million, a black jumper, a hood, face masks. When we recovered their phones, we got to supporting messages about the conspiracy to rob Mbadiremo Maria. And so we are happy that Maria really made good use of the police counter numbers. The system works very well.
In Isinjiro district, a son stabbed his father to death during a quarrel. The father, by name Gisha Patrick, from Kabatamba village, is said to have been killed by his son, David Asimwe. Abdu Nasser Lowama and Rogers Komagum for UBC.
Now, the High Court Criminal Division has sentenced Mulinzi Birali to 12 years imprisonment after he pleaded guilty to attacking and robbing her worship, Gladys Kamasanyu, of 1.85 million Ugandan shillings. Meanwhile, the same court has also sentenced John Magombe to 7 years in prison after he was found guilty of possessing human body parts while working as a witch doctor.
Mulinzi Birali, aged 28 years, pleaded guilty to the aggravated robbery of her worship Gladys Kamasanyu, in which he stole 1.58 million Ugandan shillings and other belongings, along with his co-accused Kabega Robert and others still at large. Mulinzi Birali also robbed her worship Gladys Kamasanyu of her judicial identification card, a bunch of keys, an ATM card, an iPhone Pro Max phone worth 4 million Ugandan shillings, and other items. He appeared before Judge Margaret Mutonyi at High Court Criminal Division in Kampala. The offences were committed on 17th July 2021 at Mbogo Road, Kibuli in Machindye Division, Kampala District, at the Green Hill Academy Gate in Kibuli. After pleading guilty, Judge Margaret Mutonyi sentenced Mulinzi Birali to 12 years in prison.
So the accused is convicted on his own plea of guilt of the offence of aggravated robbery as charged.
Since his co-accused Kabega Robert pleaded not guilty to the alleged offences, the court continued with the hearing of the case, with Magistrate Gladys Kamasanyu being the first witness. Mulinzi Birali was remanded to Ruzila Government Prison to serve his sentence. Meanwhile, the High Court Criminal Division in Kampala has sentenced John Magombe to 7 years imprisonment after he pleaded guilty to possessing human body parts in his shrine.
This kind of conduct should not be encouraged because it encourages human sacrifice. It therefore calls for a deterrent sentence to both the convict and others out there who engage in witchcraft.
John Magombe, witch doctor, was found with human body parts, including 2 skulls and bones, which he used in his herbal medicine. During the hearing of the case, John Magombe changed his plea from not guilty to guilty. In sentencing him, Judge Margaret Mutonyi stated that the acts committed by John Magombe could encourage the commission of similar offences by others, setting a bad example.
Such conduct is not only satanic but also primitive and should have no room in modern society and a country with Christian values like Uganda. You are free to appeal against this sentence within 14 days from today.
Judge Margaret Mutonyi also emphasized that since Uganda is a God-fearing country, such acts can't be tolerated.
In the New Testament, Jesus, the Son of God himself, used his saliva and soil to heal the blind man. No human body part was used. In our rich African culture, traditional healers use herbs to treat people.
According to court records, John Magombe claimed to have unknowingly obtained the human body parts from his fellow witch doctor. He was sent to Ruzila Government Prison to serve his sentence. Prosecution was represented by Chomugisha Barbara, and Counsel Sheila Chiwumulo represented John Magombe. John Magombe pleaded guilty through the pre-bargaining process. Deborah Namamonde, UBC News.
Now, during the State of the Nation address last Thursday, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni revealed knowledge of a corruption racket among members of Parliament. officials from the Ministry of Finance and accounting officers from various ministries. Now, reactions varied among members of Parliament, with some admitting to the existence of corruption scandals, while others labelled it as blackmail and emphasized operating in a transparent manner.
Nakaseke Member of Parliament Lutamaguzi Semakula acknowledges the existence of corruption in Parliament and calls for swift action from the President to arrest the culprits, stating that corruption has permeated not only Parliament but the entire country.
Parliament are not angels. They come from you. These are your fellow thieves. They come from you. And whatever they steal, you share. You'll find them contributing in the churches. You find these thieves contributing in community activities. In Parliament who are thieves, why can't you come and arrest them? You have the capacity, you are head of state. The members of Parliament get huge sums of money. Who told you that he who is rich cannot steal? You think it's only poor people who can steal? Everyone who can steal. Because
on the other hand, Tororo County MP Geoffrey Kanya emphasizes that MPs follow their procedural rules while passing budgets and are not responsible for increasing budgets as alleged.
These are not in procurement. I think that is, those people are talking that they want to blackmail names of MPs. You can look at the budget report of all the sectoral committees. MPs put programs to benefit the citizen. Like I've given, we approved the supplementary for Magola, we approved money for TIAC, we approved money for Bana project. The ministers came with the cabinet position on the amount. There is no single figure we increased. Instead, we have reduced.
He suggested that the government should revise its methods of facilitating MPs instead of depositing large sums of money into their bank accounts.
The same model needs to be applied here in Parliament. That the resource which is given to us to perform tasks, we need to be given government vehicles. We drive it for 5 years, and then at the end of the 5 years, it is handed back to government. But now when we are given money to buy vehicles, then they say MPs are paid a lot of money. We need to change the way Parliament is facilitated.
Kanya, one of the MPs who have not signed the motion to impeach the 4 backbench commissioners, clarified that the funds amounting to 1.7 billion were passed by MPs.
That was paid to those members of Parliament, ex gratia. We approved it in the budget of Parliamentary Commission. When we are discussing ex gratias for former speakers like Sekandi, for former speakers like Butagira, the matter was discussed and approved. The person who approves the parliamentary budget, who comments on it, is the president under the constitution, the Minister of Finance. So I think there is deliberate blackmail. And even my colleagues who are moving on this, we approve the budget, and therefore, if to censure, all MPs are guilty.
Meanwhile, the movers and seconders of the censure motion reported that they have collected 145 signatures. However, they expressed concern over some representatives who have not yet signed the motion.
We have the Honorable Aulbet Ochan, the MP for Gulu City. Then in Amur, we have Honorable Gilbert Olanya, Clark County South. The Mitom of the Generals, one and the other, and the prominent persons in this parliament. Anybody with the knowledge of Shema, with prominent persons there. Some who have worked in revenue and other places of concern with money. Where are they? Where you have the storm engulfing parliament, where you have members of parliament being summoned left and right to the CID, this is the first time in my long tenure as a member of parliament that I'm seeing the kind of storm.
Theodore Sechkubo, MP for Remiaga, released a partial list of MPs who have signed and emphasized that withdrawal of signatures is not permitted by law.
Rule 1094 provides that rules appended to the petition, to the motion, the signatures, according to the rules, shall not be vacated or removed. Shall not be removed or vacated.
Additionally, It was revealed that 3 MPs were summoned by the CID, prompting cause for the president to also summon the 4 backbench commissioners.
Expected him to send more summons. Today only 3 members of parliament were summoned. We expected him to start with the 4 commissioners of parliament because he has the evidence that the commissioners stole money. So we call upon the president to summon the 4 commissioners.
The group stated that they still have time to collect more signatures as they continue assembling evidence and preparing their motion, including notifying the Speaker of Parliament. I'm Nafka Farida and Gloria Gwitabinji at Parliament.
We'll now take a short break, but we'll be returning with much more. Do stay with us.
The Uganda National Oil Company, UNOC, is wholly owned by the government of Uganda and was established to safeguard and promote Uganda's commercial interests in the petroleum sector. UNOC has 2 subsidiaries, the Uganda Refinery Holding Company, URHC, which will hold a 40% stake in the 60,000 barrel per day refinery and manage the development of Kabalega Industrial Park, and the National Pipeline Company Limited, NPC, in charge of pipelines, storage, and downstream business ventures. This subsidiary holds 15% interest in the East African Crude Oil Pipeline, ECOP. ECOP is a 1,445-kilometer long pipeline that will transport crude oil through 10 districts in Uganda to the port of Tanga in Tanzania. UNOC is also actively engaged in crude oil exploration, development, and production activities, and its participation role includes a 15% stake in the Tilenga, Nwoya, and Bulisa, and Kingfisher development projects, Chikure. UNOC also holds the exploration license for Kasuruban Block in Hoima, Bulisa, and Masindi. UNOC currently owns and manages the Ginger Storage Terminal and will build a 320 million litre capacity terminal in MPG called the Kampala Storage Terminal. At UNOC, we're harnessing the potential of Uganda's petroleum resources, forging a sustainable future and preserving the natural beauty of Uganda. UNOC, your partner in Uganda's oil and gas industry.
Sigekira mulimo gwenkola gukanikira baba customer upa wasobuni kimba no bwiro bukutwala sente isomero ati nti amukolesa enkola ya MTN mobile money ni migasta 10 nkaga na 5 star 8 nintekamu kodi namba y'omwana genda sente ninsasola ku luminta ino kuterimaniziwa koni katunga esimu kuruga mu MTN bantereire kubantereire okubanza ntakikirize nkaba amanyire bali bafere hanyuma nagenda nakakuza MTN aho nagamba ntungire esimu ino kuruga mu MTN kyamazima okuba nkabanta amanyire nti aliyo promotion hanyuma madam akola MTN yangambira kyamazima kubasima muno mwebale muno akasente kabaire kenja kusasula school fees tamwe kujja bakasasulire akani nja kasasulira mu bagenzi baye abatabandi mwebale muno.
Together we're unstoppable.
Once upon a time, there lived identical twins who gave birth to beautiful princes and princesses.
Their mothers gave their babies' bodies a lot of care by applying on their skin with baby Junior jelly.
Though dried their chariots and everyone would admire their glowing skin. Fun fact, Baby Junior prevents diaper rash, dry and sensitive skin.
Moms all over Africa love Baby Junior jelly. Baby Junior's the skin. No more worries anymore. Boo, 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 boo. Baby Junior.
Baby Junior.
Oh, you like to stay fresh. You wanna come preach and be my girl. Lighting. Lighting. I did make a lighting up.
Welcome back, and you are watching News Tonight here on UBC TV. Now, State Minister for Primary Education, Dr. Joyce Mariku Kaduchu, has called upon young Ugandans to love their country and Africa as a whole as a fundamental move for peace. According to Moriku, many Ugandans in the past sacrificed their lives in a bid to achieve the peace being experienced now. Now, this message was conveyed during the commissioning of Patriot students from 5 secondary schools in Moyo district.
During commissioning of over 3,000 patriots in Moyo district, Joyce Moriku challenged the students to adopt a mindset towards peaceful coexistence in schools, which will eventually contribute to national peace in Uganda and across Africa.
We move from very far through a lot of turbulence, a lot of valleys, a lot of rocks, to the stage where we have stabilized as a country to have such a stable country in terms of peace, stability, and security. We are here because there are people who have sacrificed their lives for all of us to be what we are today. Those are our heroes. That is why you have been taught the history of Uganda. We stood to have the principle of patriotic, principle of Pan-Africanism, principle of democracy, and socio-economic transformation. Those are the key fundamental principles that has put the country in a very stable situation.
Patriotism determines the quality of citizens a country can have, remarked Moyo Resident District Commissioner Gore Goffin, urging students to envision the future of Uganda.
The President is very passionate about the quality of citizens we need to have in this country. There must be citizens who understand the desire and the dream of what Uganda should be. And we are fighting to ensure that every citizen participates in the development of Uganda. And I strongly believe that these students, they are going to take their studies very serious. I want to ask you, our patriots today, desist from behaviors that will make you lose your life very soon. HIV/AIDS is still around.
The need to nurture patriotic Ugandans is an initiative of the NRM government through the National Secretariat for Patriotic Corps established by President Yoweri Museveni in 2009. This initiative coordinates patriotism clubs in all post-primary schools and institutions across the country. Joseph Odama, UBC News.
Now, Uganda nurses and midwifery examinations for the June 2024 semester have commenced in high gear with over 52,000 students taking part. Now, center coordinators report that the exercise is progressing smoothly with no challenges registered so far.
Nursing and midwifery candidates in various health institutions across the country have started their end of semester Uganda nurses and midwifery examinations.
Today we have started conducting exams of the 37 series of examinations, the 13th under the semester system. These will be conducted for a period of 2 weeks, starting from 10th to 14th June 2024 for a theory examination paper.
UBC TV visited several of these schools and found the exercise proceeding smoothly. At Mengo School of Nursing and Midwifery, over 100 students are sitting for their exams.
We've had a bright morning. Examinations have already started. So far, we've not had any challenge. And right now, we have 341 students who are sitting exams today.
These include both certificate and diploma holders, and no challenges have been reported.
We have the diploma nurses, the midwives, and then the certificate nurses and midwives. We've had success at the beginning, and I believe that we shall be successful.
At St. Michael Waga Training School, students were already in the examination rooms when we arrived. The Center Coordinator, Sister Gaba Agnes, highlighted the progress of the exams.
We have started exams at 9 a.m. with the different disciplines. We have certificate nurses, certificate midwives, diploma nursing in extension, diploma midwifery in extension. The examinations are going on very well. Total number, we have 104 students.
The situation at these institutions mirrored what we found at Mulago School of Nursing and Midwifery. The Executive Secretary of the Uganda Nurses and Midwifery Examinations Board, Dr. Henry Mkakalisa Kataratambi, stated that no cases of plagiarism are expected, as security is well mannered, especially in hard-to-reach areas.
And our examinations actually are enhanced by security. We have security from UPDF, and these securities are very good security because it enhances the security of examinations, most especially in areas like Kabong.
It is recalled that on 8th June 2024, various stakeholders involved in the preparation of the UNMEB exams, particularly center coordinators and monitors, underwent a briefing. Rebecca Nantongo, UBC News.
Nakawa East Member of Parliament, Engineer Ronald Balimwezo Nsubuga, has cautioned the Ministry of Lands to stop issuing land titles to investors seeking to operate in wetlands, saying they encroach on the ecosystem and contaminate water in Lake Victoria. This statement was made during commemoration of World Environment Day in Nakawa. We have more in this story.
Nakawa East Member of Parliament, Engineer Ronald Balimwezo Nsubuga, says harmful environmental practices have continuously affected the ecosystem, contributing to climate change. Balimwezo now wants the Ministry of Lands to cancel all land titles in wetlands.
Ministry of Lands has made titles in these wetlands and has given out this land to investors for development. And you find that whenever it rains, water cannot settle within the wetlands and be filtered into Lake Victoria. Right as we speak, Lake Victoria has heavy metals, it has garbage, it has maggots, and National Water is spending lots of money to treat the water for consumption.
Balimwezo pledged to push for the Wetland Conservation and Management Bill, which aims to provide a legal framework for the conservation and sustainable management of wetlands.
It is this time that we should come out and fight the vice. All those that have encroached on our ecosystem must reinstate the ecosystem. We in Parliament, we are going to call upon Cabinet to bring the bill on environmental conservation, because it's the reason that perhaps people are degrading the ecosystem.
So it's because of that that we want to call upon government, specifically Cabinet, to ensure that they expedite the movement of the Wetland Conservation and Management Bill, such that it can be pushed to Parliament. But it's not just enough that the bill is actually pushed to Parliament. It's also very important that that bill consults widely.
Environmental activists, including Helen Kasuja, the Deputy Executive Director, CD, call for collective efforts to mitigate the impacts of climate change. These efforts include policy changes, good agricultural practices and capacity building, especially among the younger generation.
Of course, one of the key challenges has been the rampant degradation of the environment. Largely, like you hear many people say, people who are privileged in society are actually the ones, they are leading and the poor people are just coming under them. So one of the key things is around degradation of the environment, because the loss of biodiversity in this country is very alarming.
Is reducing because there are major effects of climate change where the resources are being diverted to, like the hurricanes, the floods, the droughts. So the resource envelope is shrinking by the day. So, and also climate change is progressive. We have moved from just mitigating climate and accepting that climate change is here to stay. So it's upon us to adapt.
During the commemoration of the World Environment Day in Nakawa, participants were given tree seedlings to plant as a way of conserving the environment. Mary Namkose, UBC News.
Now, Sea Care has been honored with the Excellence Caring Life Family Award Africa. This prestigious award, recognizing their groundbreaking sustainability initiative, One Life, One Tree, was presented in Cairo, Egypt on June the 5th, 2024. Now, this is an inspiring achievement for Sea Care Uganda, marking a significant step in promoting sustainability and community engagement.
The Excellence Award for Sustainability was handed over to Sea Care Uganda by the Caring Life Family Award in a ceremony held in Egypt. Dr. Miriam Musinga, the General Manager of Sea Care IHK, proudly announced the achievement in Kampala today.
Sea Care received the award from Caring Life Award in Cairo, Egypt last week. This win is of great significance to Sea Care because it goes to show the positive impact that we are creating in our communities, but most importantly, our great care for Mother Planet.
The One Life, One Tree initiative celebrates each birth at Sea Care IHK Hospital by planting a tree and issuing a tree planting certificate to the newborn. Parents can track their child's tree growth via GPS coordinates, an effort that symbolizes Sea Care's commitment to environmental conservation. To date, 2,000 trees have been planted annually under the theme One Life, One Tree, nurturing a greener future at Sea Care.
To have accountability for every tree that has been planted over the years. That means with our software, 30 years time, every child that has planted a tree can be able to say, I planted this tree in this part of Uganda, and this is how it looks now.
Dr. Musinga also called on other entities in Uganda to engage in impactful activities.
Tree Adoption in Uganda, they help locate an area where we can plant the trees, where a contract or an agreement is signed, that the trees that will be planted there will never be cut, at least not for the next 30 years.
Next year we'll have people coming from Gulu, because now we are doing deliveries in Gulu. So we want to extend this opportunity for mothers to deliver at our facility across Uganda and give them this opportunity to plant a tree as a token to remember for the rest of their life.
This initiative sets a precedent for environmental conservation and community celebration. Robert Katamba, UBC News.
Let's go to Western Uganda now, and particularly to Kyenjojo District, where Kyenjojo District, in collaboration with the National Forestry Authority, NFA, has embarked on a campaign to restore degraded forests following increased cases of encroachment. They are using collaborative forest management strategies that engage communities neighboring the forests to start income-generating ventures instead of relying on forests for their livelihoods.
Encroachment in the form of agriculture, charcoal burning and timber harvesting has put forests like Kitechura, Matiri, Ibambiro and others in Kyenjojo District at risk.
We shall not allow anybody from within Kitega or from outside Kitega to come and get timber, charcoal and other things from this forest.
The increase in population and pressure on land for agriculture and other resources have negatively affected these forests as residents encroach on them for free resources.
The objective is to ensure that these communities adjacent to the forest do not completely rely on the forest alone, but they can as well have other income generating projects.
Some residents have acquired illegal land titles within the forest reserves, which has become another challenge.
We've had another incident in Butunduzi, it is also under Matiri Forest, where the chairman LOC1 and the other members of the public, they neighbor the forest, but they sold their land and sold part of forest land.
This has prompted the National Forestry Authority to mark park boundaries to restore the disputed forest land. The move to protect forests led to the arrest of 18 people over cases of forest degradation and encroachment, as some were found cutting trees and burning charcoal in the middle of the forest.
We seized the cutting of these trees that the assailants who have been arrested were cutting down to burn charcoal. These and more have helped us to reduce degrading these natural forests, and we will continue collaborating with the communities under the collaborative forest management schemes.
Sensitization and supporting communities neighboring the forests with income-generating ventures to reduce pressure on forests are being undertaken.
Project ejikuwa izire bija batu ya magitu nkawa kazi batu edisano kora makara. Hata tukuja kutahirire chebera muntu kuja kuchisha tusheme kurinde bwo buhangwa.
Income ventures include briquette making, beekeeping, handicrafts, soap making and others.
Hey, business people of Uganda, the Ugandan National Lottery is coming. It's the perfect opportunity to boost your business. Zimba your business by becoming an authorized Uganda National Lottery agent. By paying a security deposit of just 250,000 shillings, you will receive your very own Uganda National Lottery terminal, expert training from the pros themselves, and marketing materials to skyrocket your sales. And with a generous 5% commission on every ticket sold, the potential for earnings is limitless. Don't miss out. Act now and call us toll-free at 0800 33 44 33 to see if you qualify. Join us today and Zimba your business. Ituba Uganda is regulated by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory Board.
Business news, and the proprietors of industries in Namamve Industrial Park have informed the Trade Ministry that the unchecked rise of counterfeit products in the market is significantly displacing them and paralyzing their efforts in import substitution. They revealed this to General Wilson Mbadi and David Bahati during on-site field inspections of industries in Namamve.
The industry players say the rise of counterfeit products in the market is undermining their sales and threatening their sustainability. The 2,200-acre Namamve Industrial Park directly employs at least 30,000 Ugandans in sectors like agro-processing, logistics and freight, and medical supplies, among others.
So surveillance is a big issue, and of course, implementation of some of these things. When you arrest a culprit, what happens? Our court doesn't seem to be working. I don't know.
We have a special court.
Yes, we have a special court, but we will be very happy to hear a case one day.
From your side, we have managed to acquire this particular land, which is 2,200 acres. This land is a site. You realize that when we move around, most of the roads are still under construction, but we are progressing well.
The Trade Ministry team inspected Roofings Limited, founded in 1994 and Uganda's largest steel manufacturer. Officials from the ministry conducted a thorough assessment of the facility, its production processes, safety measures, and environmental compliance.
I'm impressed with what is going on here, that Ugandans can also start sticking to standards, because that's what makes the market. If we're talking about import substitution, unless those products coming from here meet the standards of what our customers want, they will not buy them. They will continue to import. And so we will continue to spend our hard-earned dollars to buy products that can be produced here. So standards are very, very important.
The progress we are making in terms of import substitution and export promotion, because now here we are able to produce gloves, which we are importing in the country. We are glad that he has a capacity of close to 80%. The East African Vital Signs has a capacity of 80%.
In terms of quality again, we have stepped up our game. After doing this for a couple of years, we realized that the quality of gloves coming into Uganda is actually lower than the quality of gloves that are allowed into Europe. And because we are trying to get into the same quality.
Statistics show that Africa imports more than 80% of its pharmaceuticals and medical consumables, and notably 100% of its surgical and medical gloves. Crispus, Arinitwe, UBC News.
World news now, and we go to India, where Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is heading a coalition government as he begins a third term in office. His dependence on regional allies has raised questions about how effectively he will be able to pursue the transformational changes he promised ahead of the elections.
Majority in Parliament, he heads a coalition government and will need wider agreement with his alliance partners.
A majority is essential to run the country. That's the essence of democracy. But to run a country, consensus is also essential.
That consensus with regional allies poses challenges for an assertive leader who ruled with an absolute majority for a decade.
His style of functioning has been take quick decisions, go into an issue, give a timeline for it to be implemented. It's not into consulting, scores of people, taking them along in that decision-making process. So that will require a new approach.
At election rallies, Modi had said he had prepared a 100-day plan to pursue big targets. Now questions are being raised about how much he can achieve. Analysts say he will be able to carry his allies along in pursuing reforms to spur manufacturing and investment needed to grow India's economy. The country's push to build closer ties with neighboring countries and the United States while retaining relations with Russia also has broad consensus.
Big decisions on the economic front, they opening up certain sectors to FDI. He may not confront much of a resistance there. Whether it's on the foreign policy front, he may take the allies along, and he may well take the opposition along also.
But his party's Hindu nationalist agenda could take a backseat. His main allies belong to secular parties and do not share the BJP's Hindu-first ideology. Analysts also point out that the inauguration of a grand Hindu temple in Ayodhya in January failed to yield dividends. His party lost the seat where the temple is located.
The verdict of 2024 is in fact a kind of rejection of extreme Hindu nationalistic policies. It did not actually become an electoral issue that people did not really vote for the BJP because they had got the temple constructed.
In a country where opposition parties have raised concerns of democratic backsliding under Modi, he will also need to build consensus with the re-energized opposition that has gained ground.
Now, sports news, and of course, the World Cup qualifier match at Nambole Stadium between Uganda Cranes and Algeria just ended, and unfortunately Uganda has lost 2-1 to that footballing nation. And of course, earlier on, Uganda Railways Corporation stepped in to at least support the national team by providing transportation services to ensure funds arrive on time. And that brings us to the end of this bulletin. Thank you so much for having kept us company. Our next bulletin comes your way at 10 p.m. But let's go back live to Bulisa, where the pre-coronation Kasiki is taking place, and our reporter Onyango Robert is there. But let's give you all that's happening in that area. See you at 10.
Kadi mumanye ekiddako amaaso mukateeke mubwengula mulabe ekiddako wuba bwoti naye nga bw'otunudde waggulu wuba nga bw'otunudde waggulu wuba nga bw'otunudde waggulu wuba nga bw'otunudde waggulu kano kasavu kanyama kasavu kanyama Kasavu kanyama. Hey, 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 hey.